Well, this could this might be a good meditation topic because um actually one of my favorite instructions is to have a mind like wild deer. And how, if you really watch animals in nature, I mean, they are pretty alert. They're pretty, I mean, the awareness you got to have as a bird, I'm like, they never just fly into stuff. Like, I just can't imagine their awareness and precision that they're kind of calculating their moves. And that this, kind of survival in the wild, I mean, you got to be pretty alert. And to kind of imagine that level of sensitivity and alertness. And at the same time, there's also a deep level of just being attuned and calm and just with things the way they are. So I find that there's a wisdom in this, and how the human mind, really likes to contort things and make up stories, which, yeah, I mean, animals, as far as we could tell, like animals don't do this or can't do this. So this really does lead to the whole, um, all of these books of instruction, really, about navigating, or what they say is it's like, um, understanding the nature of the mind. And in fact, today I was going to even bring in, if we were to cultivate, often these teachings go back to cultivating um, wholesome, skillful, or beautiful mind states. And we could say, well, yeah, that's just not my nature, is to, you know, be, have these beautiful mind states. But we learn that these can be actually just like a planting seeds or a garden, is that these can be grown. Now, not everyone is interested in doing this, as from what I've found. So we could reflect on this. What brings you here? Um, and I find that there is this interest in, like, I want to really be alert and awake and see things clearly. Like, I don't want to be caught up in these stories that I make up. And so as we practice, then let's just move right into our initial grounding. Um, this is a formal practice time, so we take it kind of seriously. We go to our kind of the seat that we know works well, a feeling of being kind of as comfortable as possible, in the body. And yet, this doesn't mean that we just kind of like, recline, that could make us really sleepy. So just that right feeling of bringing in good energy. I'm here to do some work. So maybe closing your eyes and noticing what's touching your chair or the floor, your seat. It's good to bring awareness down into the body. Notice that you're breathing. And we'll take in this sound of the bell. I'm here to practice. Each time we practice, we might understand why it's important to stop, to feel what it feels like to stop and to settle. A physical feeling of grounding and settling, not going off and running errands, just right here. If we're interested in this capacity of the mind, we start by just feeling into all these aspects, all of these, what we're sensing and feeling right now. What's going on? We all have all sorts of stuff happening in our lives, kind of to us personally or family members. It is a little bit like a timeout. So the grounding, looking closer, curious. Even if the mind feels like it's just not going to settle down, there is, maybe we've learned a little bit like, oh, this is that moment where I just really persist. You might say to yourself, like, I'm going to feel this rhythm of my breath. Feel the inhale. I feel the exhale. There is this wave of breathing, the rhythm of life. Just letting your belly relax. Letting your throat soften, bring awareness. And all of this softening is just a deeper awareness. And you might notice, like, okay, I usually don't do this. Really move awareness to my body. But I'm going to practice not wandering into the future or the past. I'm going to feel, what does it feel like to be alive right now? So this mind, like wild deer, is all your feelers. What am I perceiving right now? What's going on? Is there a mood? Kind of a the feeling of the present kind of dominant mood. Maybe a sense of space. What would that be like? You know, if you really kind of tighten or clench your jaw, for example, like that just wouldn't feel like space, you know, it would be feel really kind of hardened. And so even just starting with your nose, your nostrils, space, a space in your mouth, your throat. This is something we can choose to do. We can be aware, even the smallest feeling of like space in your mouth. There's you can be certain, like, yeah, that's helpful. What does it feel like? What do your eyes feel like? If, yeah, it's interesting. We can close the eyes and they might feel like they're kind of clamped. So soft eyelids. As we free ourselves of tension, little by little, you can tell we're not kind of caught up in our stories, or we don't need things to be different than they are right now. How do you know that you're here? So with mindfulness practice, there's a knowing, like I'm putting forth effort to sustain being here, this simple experience, and yet it's both ordinary and extraordinary. be aware of your whole body. And there can be now, like we're coming to balance with this energetic quality, or a balance of, it's actually called wise effort, sometimes called right effort, where there's the effort to be fully aware, attentive, mind like wild deer, and yet a deep calm. So one thing you could play with is that, that first meditation we do is almost like, well, that's our pre-meditation practice, and not so worried about, oh, am I even meditating? Am I even doing this? Or, and yeah, maybe more just look at it like, I'm just kind of checking out how things are right now. I don't need to rush into, some deep meditative experience. But they do say that, it really, any kind of, I guess I've heard it like enlightenment, any experience of enlightenment is usually like, I don't know, kind of a byproduct. Like we can't really aim for it. It just happens when we, moment to moment, connect with a feeling of being free. I don't need a certain this or that to happen. Oh, I have a squirrel friend next to me now. It's so funny. There's some planters out there, and yeah, you're not going to find anything there, buddy. Oh. So I feel like when we, often here we have this draw of kind of being in nature, right? Part of, I think of like gardening, Carol, is like, if things grow, like, I don't know, that's kind of a byproduct. Like I'm just there to just connect and be, planting seeds, who knows if they're going to grow, So there's a letting go, right? Because what if you plant seeds and like, oh my gosh, they didn't grow the way the way I imagined. And that could be all a setup, right? So we do this so many ways in our life when we attempt something. I want it to kind of be like this. Where these really basic teachings of like this quality of metta and just kindness, as we watch like the nature of the mind, like, I don't know, does kindness naturally happen? Do I respond to all beings and relate with this, deep, eminent, radiating kindness? And maybe you do, but oftentimes it actually takes like an intentional practice. So I find here we're actually growing this kindness and compassion towards ourselves. It's a really good place to start. And truly, I feel like we're here. We even just come to the cushion because we know it's hard. Or I can just feel like I just fantasize a lot. I don't want to be in the present. It's hard. And when people come to meditation, it's like, oh, I thought this was going to be some kind of escape, which people do this where their meditation is just a total, Calgon take me away experience. But we're really here to see it's possible right here in this heart. It feels good to deeply remember that you care, and that one of the main things that really helps is this watching the mind as it wants to go somewhere else. I mean, it just seems like such a basic, and I don't want to say easy instruction, but to see as almost like we've trained ourselves to not really be here, or kind of yeah, I'll do that later. So when we take a formal practice like this, it's like, I can't do it later. And it's like right now, right in this moment, this very ordinary moment, I can experience a sense of deep connection and peace. Wow, like I can cultivate that. It's not from the world being different, it's not someone else, I'm not taking a medication or consuming anything. It's not that high you get from, I don't know, purchasing something. It's really as simple as I have a teacher who calls it knowing being. This is a really rich connection that really is available in absolutely any moment. I feel like we come here to learn about this capacity. We might even experience these moments. It really can feel like a moment of that, not wrestling with the way things are. So we'll use all of our senses again, this way of like perceiving, this mind like wild deer, alert. It's like I can be alert without needing to be stressed out. I mean, I guess we could wonder, does the deer walk around deeply afraid of being attacked? I mean, I would imagine that there is this alertness that's just simply going to respond to whatever arises without making up a story of being afraid of what might happen, which the human mind does a lot. So let's free ourselves of that just as we formally practice. Again, just sitting upright, hopefully we have a sense of kind of humor or lightheartedness as we watch like our tendencies of, oh, these stories I can create of what might happen. So taking a couple deeper breaths, knowing I'm going to give myself this beautiful gift of my own awareness, my loving awareness. Grow the sense of this possibility of being at ease in this moment. Take in the sound of the bell. And now I'm practicing can we open, so there is this opening, to the truth that we understand that anything can happen at any time. Beautiful, wonderful things and stressful things. But I'm going to practice staying open. And this is what it feels like. Inhaling, exhaling. Feel the breath. And if that helps too, I find that I usually am not paying attention to my breath, and when I do, it's a way, a technique to be in the present. Feeling and sensing, what does alertness feel like? Alertness is so different than like anxiety or stress. It's deep awareness of being alive, you explore bringing awareness into your body, into areas usually you don't hang out in or visit. And just knowing I'm connecting. This is a moment of caring, a moment of healing, harmonizing. As we move into this deeper practice of sensing and feeling, the thinking, the words might decrease. We can choose to not identify with the thoughts so much. They might still be there. Can be sometimes described as like a radio that's playing in the background. Just kind of, but you're really knowingly aware of feeling the body, like soften your throat again. This is what kindness feels like. Free of any way of criticizing or being, just dissatisfied that breathing and feeling. Again, how alertness has this energy, but it's really quite the opposite of any like nervous or feeling of being worried. Now it's important that you're finding ways to guide yourself, when it's silent. As you understand the nature of your mind, Here comes a hummingbird. Feel your body, your mind calm and still. So we've been taking a moment, kind of reflecting on like what happens when you really take this time, maybe what you learned or what you experienced today. I think this whole understanding of why we do this work, what it leads to, is such a personal, like they describe it as a path that we're walking, and yeah, like a personal journey. So thank you, everyone. And there's just something just so sweet when like other people of their own free will come here and